So, hello everybody. Welcome to the Devon Hour. I'm your host, Devon, and today we are going to be addressing some very, very important stuff that's going on in the country. Black Lives Matter, the riots, George Floyd, Minneapolis. So many things I want to cover because I just wouldn't feel right continuing making content if I didn't address these issues at hand first. So I have a very, very special guest, somebody who you will definitely recognize from last summer when I did the Devon Hour from home for the first time, which was very, very successful. I would say
Had a lot of fun.
we did have a lot of fun. So welcome Naya back to the Devon Hour.
Hit me. Now you guys know what I look like, even though you all know what I look like because I'm always on Instagram.
Located in Hawaii currently.
It's so sunny. It's so hot. Somebody save me. It's hot as hell here. Like,
One of the main reasons why I definitely wanted you here, Naya, is because you are very much intelligent. And me and you, we have been advocating, we have been serious advocates and activists
I don't
during
think
this whole entire
my
situation.
Instagram story has been this long in since the last time I went to a concert. Like, I've been posting. I haven't been this active on Instagram since ever.
Right.
And I'm tired. I'm frustrated and my energy.
Drained. We are beyond exhausted. That's not even a word to use at this point. Because me and you both know, you growing up in New York City and in Jersey City, we have seen police brutality since we were young. We've seen it our whole entire lives.
Yeah, and I just think that growing up, it's a harsh reality as a Black person,
Yeah.
And after so many years of peaceful protesting, people are finally tired of being peaceful. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, quite honestly.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get into that, the protesting for sure, because I personally don't see an issue with it either. But yeah, like
When
us growing up,
you tire. You cannot poke the bear and expect to not get bit, bro.
right? Like us growing up here in Jersey City, we have definitely seen our Black peers be harassed by the cops. Like that's one of the things, unfortunately, that we had to witness growing up. And the one of the other unfortunate parts about it, a lot of police brutality is not documented on video. A lot of
Yeah.
it a lot of it is through our own personal experiences. So that's why it's so confusing to me. So many people are like baffled by the response to George Floyd, baffled about the response to America's response to Black people being killed. Like it's so like how are you
So
confused?
silent. Yeah.
How could
I
you be confused?
I can't fathom how it's such a gray area for certain people when it's not. It's not a gray area. Like, people are dying,
Right.
people are suffering. Like, we as minorities in general, just beyond Black and white and Hispanic and Asian, like, we as minorities are literally minorities. Like, they treat us like we're less than.
They make it known.
And yeah, and it's not something that's brand new. Like, we learn about it constantly as kids. And sure, history textbooks gloss over so many things, but at the end of the day, it's not brand new, and people are acting like their stuff is brand new.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of hit that breaking point where people are tired of 400 years of systematic oppression can really take a toll on a generation,
Right.
Especially a generation that has such access to knowledge with the coming of, internet and social media and, just education that doesn't have limitations. Because I understand that in some places, the school systems, they limit the type of things that children are allowed to learn,
Mm-hmm.
You can't blame the kids when they don't have the opportunities to fix their ignorance or educate their ignorance. But now that's not an excuse.
Right.
Because we do have the internet. We have a lot of resources that are free, a lot of books that are free. Like, I've shared a lot of information and places where you can find things. Like, you have Netflix. You have Hulu, like you got YouTube. A lot of these book resources are free. Like you pay for scientific journals, yada yada yada. When you go to college, use that to educate yourself. Like it's not just about filling classes in and doing what with what you have. Like there are ways, and people will try to ignore those ways and act like, oh, it doesn't have anything to do with me, but it does. It has everything to do with you, because your silence is just choosing the side of oppression.
For real. And at this point, the topic of racism and police brutality, Black Lives Matter, even outside of that, LGBTQ topics or Black LGBTQ
Happy
topics.
Pride Month. Happy Pride Month. It's Pride Month. Gay as hell. Gay as hell.
Those are things that are just so unavoidable in the world of social media. Like if you have a social media account, you have witnessed these conversations being had between other people, regardless of who you follow. Like these are conversations that are being brought up on your timeline. So
it's unavoidable at this point.
Yeah.
And who have been ever so lucky to avoid that kind of stuff, then you're following all the wrong people.
Exactly. If you are not seeing those conversations on your timeline, you're definitely following the wrong people for sure.
And that kind of made me proud of myself, like not to gas my own head up, but like my timeline is pretty full of, protesting.
Right.
I got the right people on my timeline. Proud of my people. Okay.
For real. So I want to talk about the root of all this stuff, right? So George Floyd, Minneapolis. Oh. Yep.
Since we going back.
This whole George Floyd situation happened, last week? Literally the beginning of last week.
Actually, from what I remember, was it last week?
It's been a long week.
I think the video dropped last week, but it happened in April. Or I might be mixing that up with Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah.
One of the videos ended up leaking, but then I think that was Ahmaud Arbery, which is why George Floyd ended up being such a catalyst, was because it happened to Ahmaud and then it happened to Breonna.
Yeah.
And then so many other people, and then George ended up being the one that everybody was like, all right,
the tipping point.
We're done. And it was seeing that video was so traumatizing for me, because it brought me back to Eric Garner, and how many years ago was that? You know what I mean? Like, I Can't Breathe had been such a quote from like Eric Garner, and for that to just be brought back and overlapped so many years later, not even so many years later. When was that? Like 2017? It's 2020.
Yeah, recent.
Like for that to just be like brought back like that, I was like, wow, like they really, really don't care. Like they don't. 9 minutes is a long time.
It is. And for those who haven't seen the video, I'm going to link it in the descriptions below on the podcast and on YouTube. Trigger warning for sure, because it is triggering, but I'm going to link it. New York Times released a video that documented the time George Floyd came out of the corner store to the time that he was killed. And just to see how that man was actually like, he was responding to the cops well, and he was telling the cops like, listen, I'm claustrophobic, I can't get in the back of this car. Like he was working with them.
Yeah.
And he was telling them like, listen, I'm claustrophobic. And for 4 cops to be on top of that man for as long as they did, for that one cop, I can't get his name, because I think his name was Derek
Chauvin.
For him to be on that man's neck for over 10 minutes.
How ironic it is that his last name is Chauvin and he's like a chauvinist. Like, just God's work is so chef kiss. Like, he be out here giving us signs, man.
Derek was on that man's neck, on George Floyd's neck, for it had to be over 10 minutes. And it had to be even longer than that, because the firefighters didn't come for a long time. The EMT didn't come for a long time. And there was so much
and
unnecessary
just for
force.
them, and then for them to be like, yeah, he died from underlying health issues, just for the private autopsy to come out and be like, nah, y'all are wrong. Like, that in itself shows how many lengths these cops will go just to save themselves, you know?
To not take responsibility.
Yeah, and like, that's
for
ridiculous.
a murder.
I don't understand.
And let's call it like it is. George Floyd was murdered. He didn't just die. And I think people use the word death as like a scapegoat.
Sugarcoat. Yeah.
To sugarcoat, for real, because when you say, because oh my God, Bob the drag queen and Peppermint from RuPaul's Drag Race, they did a very beautiful video discussing all this. And Peppermint said, when people say the word murder, we're automatically going to go to who murdered that individual.
Yep.
When we say death, we just going to just assume that person just died for whatever reason. So the media is using the word dead and not saying the word murder when that's what it is. That man was murdered.
Yup.
Because we saw the video. That Derek Chauvin, that officer was on George Floyd's neck. That man was saying he couldn't breathe. You better
say his name, tell everybody who that man is, who this murderer is, and how it wasn't his first time.
And then there's that. These crooked ass cops.
Just like, he killed a Latino man, in 2018? Like, not even a year, or was it like 2008? Something like that. Just for him to... And he knew who George Floyd was, too. They worked together in the same area as security guards. Like,
right.
17 years, bro. These cops, they're just on a power trip. They don't care.
I think that speaks on how these cops and how a lot of races really just view Black lives as like disposable.
Oh, yeah.
Just the
replaceable cockroach.
Exactly, just replaceable. And I think what's another interesting part about the response to George Floyd, because due to coronavirus, COVID-19, it is. I was like, where did you come? It is so interesting to see, like, because nobody's distracted. Everybody's at home. Everybody has social media. Everybody's now on social media because they have no distractions. Yeah. So this George Floyd situation, if it was during a time when there wasn't a pandemic, it would have just honestly glossed outside. Over.
Everybody's outside. Everybody. And like, on top of that, like, it really sucks because African American people, minorities, they're some of the people that are most at risk for catching it. And they're the ones that are outside. They're the ones, and like, I wouldn't be surprised if this shit did not like affect any of them, like any of the people that are outside, for us to be the most affected, and then us having to be out there to protest and us having the opportunities to protest, like that. The government, watch out.
And like I said, like, if it wasn't for this pandemic, everybody would be at work. George Floyd, this situation, I don't think would have gotten as big as it was because everybody would be too distracted by their everyday lives and not really paying attention to what's going on in the world. So this is definitely.
People, but you know what, though? Kind of appreciate it because with that, people don't have the excuse to stay silent. They're sitting at home. Y'all are doing absolutely nothing, and you have all the time to educate yourself on why Black Lives Matter and why no lives matter until Black Lives Matter. And the ones that are staying silent, I see y'all.
Oh, I peep it. Peep it.
Clown emoji.
For real. And we're going to get into those celebrities who are just cooning and buffooning. But first, I want to talk about
Roland Ray.
Oh my gosh! First, I want to talk about the looting and the rioting that is happening currently, because that video of that Target snatched my wig because I was living for every moment of it.
My favorite is that white lady walking out with her lamps. She lay away, and she was like, "I'm gonna get my fucking lamps."
She saw those lamps.
One for each side of that bed.
Right. She saw those lamps during the new year, as soon as the new year turned, and she said, I'm gonna
Yup.
save up. I'm gonna get these damn lamps. The opportunity,
I bet you the lamps were like $200 each. For
right?
nothing.
The opportunity came, and she snatched up those lamps as soon as she said, I'm gonna come in here for some lamps. That's on period.
She said, "Oh, y'all looting? Oh, y'all taking stuff? This is my time to shine." But notice how when those places were looted at the very beginning, when it was for the Black Lives Matter movement, all of those resources went right back to the people.
Yeah, that was so beautiful, and I don't think that was discussed enough.
And I think that people forget that. People don't see that, and it's being overshadowed by these people who are looting for self-gain and selfish reasons and for their Instagram posts and all that bullcrap. Oof. Don't get started on Becky's and their Instagram posts.
Or otherwise, how it all started, because it started as a peaceful protest. People weren't being heard, so then they got pissed. And there's always a cause and effect.
It wasn't what? Target don't got nobody to blame but themselves for that shit, because guess what they did? The cops tear gassed them.
Yep.
Went to that Target asking for help, and that Target donated to Minneapolis and that the police center and denied those people access. Like, first of all, y'all should want people to be buying your stuff.
Right.
But you don't want to let these people buy your things. Now look at you. You don't got a building. Those people don't got no jobs. I feel bad for the owner because no, I don't. Actually, no, I don't. Because he donated. That's what he get. That's what he get. That's what you get.
And also, like, it's a
Karma works hard.
It's a cause and effect. Like, this happened because something else. People didn't just wake up one day. It was like, well, George Floyd died. Let me go attack this Target. No, they woke up because they did that because y'all did something to affect them. Because Target wouldn't have been touched any other way.
Don't everybody loves Target. You see our Target. I said, if y'all start looting at Target, you better get me a Switch, because Devin, I'm telling you right now, if they start looting that Target, you better get me a Switch. I'm telling you.
Girl, I'm picking up an iPad Pro.
You better get me one of those too. You better I know you got that big behind backpack. Up with that shit and run all those bitches over, because you are a big man, Devin.
Right here.
You. You better tell them bitches to move and get me what I need.
I'm elbowing hoes out the way to get my damn
I want that new PS5. I know they got that shit in the back warehouse. You better go to that back warehouse, because I know that's where they hide and everything.
Right. And I'm buying some for the kids in the neighborhood too to give back.
Period. Get them one of those big behind pools and put it in the front of your parking lot. Ooh, beach parties is about to be so fun. You about to have the summer of your life.
Shout out to Target.
Little siblings. Sponsored by Target.
Okay. Looted by Target. That is so funny. But yeah, like, there has been different riots in all over the country. Like in Georgia's wilding.
Because Georgia got a bunch of racists.
Oh, for real. New York is wilding too. But yeah, like, there's so many different cities that are responding to this, and there's looting. And I just want to say that the looting isn't because of Black people. We're not the ones doing it. It's all the non-Black people.
All those videos, right? It's all white people. Pale people, pasty people. I see y'all, and y'all are not low, bro. Thinking that wearing black is gonna cover up that paste. I see it.
Let me tell you what just happened today, Naya, because I was at City Hall today for their protest. Mm-hmm. And literally, this was so funny. There's a whole crowd of people, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, lovely. This one Asian dude, I don't know where he's from. I was gonna give him a country, but that ain't right. This one Asian dude, he was like, "Fuck the police." Da 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 da. Why did
he was one of them Filipino niggas saying Filipinos? You know what I mean?
Right.
He was one of them.
He was like, "Fuck the police." Da 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 da. Why did all the Black people turn and look at him and was like, "Shut up"?
Me.
But that goes to show that the people who are starting all of these riots and stuff, that's not us.
Yo, and then at the end, do you see all those videos and like pictures of like these places that are being like ransacked and stuff, and then it says like colored people? Like, what black person you know is calling themselves colored? What black person you know is spray painting 666 on the walls? Like, what?
Black people want no parts, so we're
Got time for that.
we just here to chant and say what we gotta say and go home.
But like, you know, I heavily believe that because all black people have the same experiences. Like, you cannot tell me, like me, even me as like somebody who was raised by a Filipino family has the same black experiences as like black people like you that are like on African American. You know what I mean? And my mama is a full Filipino woman. That woman got black inside her. I don't care what nobody tells me. She black people.
She did. She had your daddy.
She had my daddy, my stepdaddy, like, and like that's another thing is that like a lot of people are coming to me and saying that like, oh, like I know that you don't have any black family, blah 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 blah, and they don't know me because I got a stepdaddy and he's darker than you. Not that means anything, but like they lived in DC. Like I used to spend summers and winters in Baltimore. Like I have a black family. I have black experiences, and those are the people that I fight for. You know what I mean? I have black siblings. Like I have a black niece. Like they're gonna grow up and they have to have somebody. You know what I mean?
And also, Naya, your black experience also derives from the fact that you grew up here in Jersey City and you had nothing but black friends who you identify with.
I ain't never had a white friend in my life.
Besides Javier, but he's Puerto Rican. I also just want to say their names. I want to talk about just Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery. Just another, like this was all prior to George Floyd. And I believe these were like the situations that really like overflowed, and George Floyd was the straw that broke the camel's back for real. So I just wanted to say their names.
You know what's crazy is that there are I haven't seen a lot of coverage on it, but there are kids that are getting killed continuously after this. Like
yes,
catalyst to where now people feel like they can just do it.
Yes.
They're being like vigilantes, and you know, God knows how many people have not gotten the coverage that they deserve. You know, they don't have all eyes on them, and they're the people that we're really fighting for. Like, all due respect, like as much as George Floyd's family tells us not to protest, it's not just about him, you know?
Right.
Respect, you know, may he rest in peace, but there are people out there that don't get the same coverage as George Floyd. They don't get the same love. And they're the people that we're fighting for because at the end of the day, we don't see that, but somebody does. And, you know, there are cops out there that do stuff under the guise of, you know, being a superior, and they shouldn't be allowed to do that, you know?
Right. Yeah, for real. That's facts, nothing but facts. So I just really wanted to say their names because just so many Black lives have just been lost within the past couple of years. And even like dating back to Trayvon Martin, which was a conversation that was brought up today during the protest we had in Jersey City. Trayvon Martin's name was brought up, and just hearing the amount of names that were affected by it. And these are only the documented names, people that we heard about, that there's video of. Just imagine how many other people that were affected that were not, that there's no video, that there's no documentation, that let's say like Black trans lives, for example, that also face police brutality, who have been killed. And their cases are still open, and nobody knows who murdered them. And
nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody that has the power to do anything cares. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There are like cops that become cops because they're weak. You know what I mean? They face they need that extra title and that extra, you know, shield to allow themselves to
feel empowered.
Yeah, to feel protected and all that stuff.
Right.
It's the same instance in which, you know, kids are you know, abused, and then in the same light they become the abuser. Like that's where I see a lot of these cops become who they are, you know what I mean? That, or it's always, oh, my daddy was a cop, so I have to be a cop, but then your daddy was also a racist son of a bitch. Are you a racist son of a bitch?
Right. Right.
You are. When George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, like Breonna Taylor, all of those were premeditated murder. They walked up into that girl's house. You cannot walk up into a person's house without a warrant. You went in there with the intentions of taking somebody's life. 8 shots. You don't gotta shoot somebody 8 times.
And mind you, they went into her apartment to look for drugs. No drugs was found. And they killed this lady.
Killed her. Imagine, like, it took a whole month for that video to come out. Imagine how things would have been different had he not gotten the coverage that he got, you know?
Right.
The video not come out. Had, you know,
if people weren't home.
And it's crazy because people are still trying to find a reason to justify his death, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's what we're fighting for, is because no matter like, I understand if somebody murdered somebody, you know, there's always going to be, you know, people in every race that just don't follow the rules, lack moral integrity, whatever the case may be. But there is no justification for a cop murdering somebody that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I hear you.
The way that these people die is like, there's no justification for that.
None. And that's why I say it is so important for people, no matter if you have an Instagram, if you have a big following, little following, if you have a social media platform, regardless, if you have a social media account, you should be sharing this message, because you never know who household you might be going into when you're sharing that post. You never know who may be viewing it and how that could affect change for the positive. So share this message continuously. If you are one of those individuals who has a parent as a cop, has a parent that's racist, and if you see this message, Black Lives Matter, you know, that could, and you do the research on it, it could definitely change your opinion. And you could have those conversations and really try to get these people to see that there are real lives being lost out here. So share this message. If you are a person with a massive platform, no questions asked, you should be sharing this message. If you have a massive platform, that's your responsibility as a person with a massive platform to share this message, because you never know who household you might be going into with that message. You never know who might be looking.
And even if you don't have a massive platform,
share it.
Me with like my measly 700 followers, where half of the followers never see me on their timeline anyway because of Instagram's fucked up algorithm.
Right.
You know how much of an impact I've made in the last few days sharing my links.
Real quickly, I want to get into these celebrities because they have been acting a plumb fool.
Man,
there's a coon list going around.
You know what though? As tone deaf as Chrissy Teigen is, she showed the fuck out, bro. Her and Seth Rogen and
Cardi
what
B.
The hell, props. Yes. Look, and y'all fave is super silent right now. What's she saying? I haven't seen shit from her. All you barbs and shit. So many of them are just like coming out and like trying to act like this black screen. Like Kylie Jenner, Kendall Jenner, Kris Jenner, Khloe Kardashian. All of that little crew are so fucking dumb for that 10 tag challenge. Y'all are so fucking dumb for that. So dumb for that. And half of y'all are coming out here with your stupid blackout screen, which, like, yes, that was cute. Whatever. I understand the premise, but y'all are not supposed to stop doing what y'all are doing when it comes to educating people. Y'all are not supposed to clog up the black lives. Like, I understand that the intentions were good there. And, like, it's a cute little way for, like, people, you know, celebrities to show their support. Because at the end of the day, no one is obligated to publicly open their purse. You know what I mean?
Right.
But as a celebrity, I think that it would be a good way to encourage other people and to keep it two Virgils with you. Let me keep it two Virgils with you. Talk about Doll Skill though, and how they have the audacity to be like, we fucked up.
Oh, I have a couple of names I want to list. I want to say B Simone, you're dumb.
The
Shekinah,
baby are made for each other.
Shekinah, you are a fool.
Are speaking out, and they loud and they wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all are loud and y'all are wrong.
There's a whole thread of like celebrities who are coons, and my friend, he literally created a whole coon list, which I live for. So
why was Lil Nas X why was he on there? Like, what did he do? Who hurt him? Like, but Roland Ray was coming for his ass. When Lil Nas was like, please forgive me on his live, Roland Ray was like, I remember when you blocked me and now you want to be all up in my live. Get the fuck out of here. Roland Ray was really out there, and they need to protect that man because he is still a queer, disabled Black man.
That's true. No matter how much of a fool
on the
he
front
is.
lines. He is such a fool. He said, what? Black Lives Matter? What?
Period. But at least he's out there. He's doing more than these other people are doing.
More than some of y'all faves could say.
And let me just also let me get into this, because the last and final thing I want to address is the non-Black communities and these universities, right? So to all the non-Black people who are out here speaking up for Black people, good on you. I'm not going to pat you on your back for it.
No, I ain't supposed to applaud a fish for swimming.
Okay, I'm not going to...
Cookies for not being racist.
I'm not going to praise a dog for drinking water. I'm not doing that.
You don't get a cookie for not being racist, bitch.
Exactly. So good on y'all. But just because you are addressing Black issues and reposting Black Lives Matter, this is not an invitation into Blackness. This is not to excuse y'all saying nigga all the time. This is not to excuse y'all associating yourself with Blackness all the time. Good on you. You're doing the right thing, as you should, but I'm not going to praise you for it. And don't think that just because you did this, that all of a sudden that you're invited to whatever Blackness cookout there is afterwards. This is not what it is.
Using this as an opportunity to take light away from the Black Lives Matter movement, because at the end of the day, there are Black kids in ICE. We're fighting for them too.
Right.
Okay? There are Black kids that are immigrants. A lot of the people that y'all are fighting for, trying to take light away from us, is the same kids that we're fighting for. The same kids that we were out there protesting for years ago. But now that we're getting steam, we're gaining steam, and we're getting coverage, y'all want to take light away from us and remind us. But where are y'all when this shit is still going on? Y'all stay silent. Y'all want to be like, oh, what about the kids that are in cages and shit? Give us our moment, and then we'll let you have your moment. You know what I mean? Like, there's space enough for all of us.
And what's really crazy...
At the end of the day, oppression is just oppression.
Right. And what's really crazy is that Black people are at the front lines of those movements as well. Black people are literally there fighting for Spanish people, Asian folk.
And people pretend like they don't fucking see it, bro.
Right.
We fight so hard for everybody else, but nobody fights for us.
For us.
It's crazy.
And don't be Black and queer, because ain't nobody fighting for you. And that's the harsh reality.
You like that?
and that's the harsh reality.
Yo, every time somebody's like, you not gay, I'd be like, why would I choose to be Black and gay? Like, and you think I'm gonna do that shit to myself? I didn't ask for this life.
Right.
You think I want to be like this? You are out of your mind.
Exactly. And to the universities out here, because I recently posted something
Rutgers is super fucking silent for, you guys got campuses in Camden and in Newark where the minority population is high. Even fucking New Brunswick. A lot of the kids from Jersey City go to New Brunswick.
Yeah.
Like, y'all got inner city kids up in your schools. Y'all are fucking silent. Y'all are super, super silent. who is your PR? I'm gonna need these people to get better PR teams because I'm sick and tired. Like, y'all need to start hiring some colored people up in your PR teams because
For real. So for those who don't know, I tweeted King University and I posted the post on my Instagram page, a screenshot of the tweet on my Instagram page. And it got like almost like 300 different likes, which is really, really cool. And so many people shared it to their stories, and so many King University students shared it to their stories. And they've been adding Kane, and even to the point where the president had to make like a message. He sent it to all of us.
oh, now he want to make a statement.
Now he wants to talk. But my issue is not with the current president of my university. My issue is with the president that we have now, the new one. He was appointed president like around last month. He's a black man.
He's black, right? Yeah.
He's black, and he's also a part of a black org. And it bothers me so much because he has been silent throughout this whole entire situation. He hasn't said shit at all. So the fact that you are a black man, a black president of a university, of a PWI, and you haven't said anything in regards to this movement and in regards to George Floyd is disgusting and ridiculous. And how do you think that make your black students feel? It's already bad enough that we as black students have to navigate through a white PWI and survive it for 4 years, and you can't even say shit directly to your students. You can't even come up with
especially the students that make up so much of Kane's culture, you know,
which is the black students.
When I went there, like I didn't see no white people out there, you know. During homecoming, it was predominantly the black people that were out there, you know, celebrating, making Kane a welcoming place, like doing their job, you know what I mean? Like the Greek life there is, you know, is black. It's black as hell, you know what I mean? Like, what else am I gonna say? Like, at the end of the day, like places like that are they thrive off of black culture, you know? And for universities like that to be silent it shows what side they're really on, you know what I mean? Like who they really support, because, you know, that's where they're getting their money from. At the end of the day, we all know that y'all are the white man's bitch.
And what really bothers me is that he couldn't even do like a iPhone notes message. Like you couldn't get on camera.
You couldn't do a YouTube apology, like
something like just to acknowledge what's going on in the country, so you could stand with the black students at your university.
The fact that Nickelodeon is doing a lot better than a lot of you adults says something about you.
And there's no excuses. It's been a week. It's been a whole entire week, and yet nothing has been said from this new president. Granted, apparently he's not in office. I don't give a damn about that. You've been appointed as president. You couldn't send like an email.
Yeah, people are looking at you. You're a black president now. Like there is a black man in charge now. You have an obligation to speak out.
And
regardless of, you know, you're in charge yet, you still have the obligation for the kids that are coming in now, for the kids that have graduated, you know. These are the people that look up to you and want to, you know, end up like you know, say something.
And also the fact that, you know, there's people who wants to go to your school, you know, these incoming freshmen, seeing that you're not responding says a lot. For people who wants to go to your school for graduate, like me, an alumni who wants to go there for graduate school, and seeing that my alma mater is not responding to an issue that directly affects your students. And you know what? Let me just go in, because now I'm pissed.
Get it off your chest. Is it your mind?
Let me just say this, because as a black student at Kane University, I myself have faced so much latent racism. I have been in so many situations where people have said so much ignorant shit. And the fact that both presidents have yet to recognize the flaws in their school and the flaws with the white and non-black students in their school who have done everything to offend a black person at that university. Just the fact that they haven't said anything in response to George Floyd, to the racism at their own schools, says a lot to me. And for this new person who also holds another position within education in the state of New Jersey and hasn't said shit at all, says a lot.
I wanted to bring up martial
Wait, you want to bring up what?
martial law.
Mm-hmm.
Trump hiding up in that bunker, and you know, the media's power in all of this.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you know, Trump, he's not a president. He's a fucking cult leader. You know what I mean? Like, he's leading these people with their brainwashed beliefs, and now he has the odd, like, after inciting martial law and allowing National Guard to be out there, providing these policemen with weapons, like, now you want to go up and hide? Like, that's like listen, Twitter fingers. If I had the opportunity to deck you in the face just once, I would do it twice, and I'd do it again. Like,
period.
I don't understand, like, you know what? And that's crazy, because a lot of, like, these people that are protesting, a lot of these people that are tweeting are ending up, like, becoming national. They're threats to the security of the president, and
Right.
they're, like, arresting them, and they're putting them in mental institutions and all that. You know what? Put me in that mental institution. I need that shit anyway. I need therapy. But they don't deserve that. You know what I mean? Like, for them to, like, it's starting to come to a point where freedom of speech is no longer a thing, and we're breaking the Constitution. Like, for Trump to be doing this is a clear violation of constitutional rights. Like, these people are protesting. That is their freedom of speech. That is their, to, you know, bear arms, protect themselves, blah, 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 whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
You let white people do whatever they want. You let white people scream freedom of speech. They scream, I got the right to bear arms, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, whatever the fuck, you know?
Yep.
And yeah, when black people do it, when people of color do it, when minorities do it, when the oppressed do it, you want to go and hide in your bunker.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I smell a little bitch.
And on top of all that, for Trump to respond the way that he's responding to this movement, for him to legit threaten protesters, calling us anarchists, when it's, mind you, thugs, when it's not, when I tell you, like, it's not even us that's doing, like, the protesters, it's literally your fucking supporters, your peers, white people who are out there.
Antifa.
Like, why would you, like, that's so disgusting. You're a president. Like, you see people are angry. Your thing is, okay, how can I fix this? How can I assist? Instead, you're making it worse. He's such an asshole.
He's not a leader. He's there for his own personal gain. And that's like, you know, when people were so upset in 2016 when he became our president, that's the reason why we were so upset, because we knew from the get that he wasn't doing this to help anybody.
Like, his ego.
Brainwashed by his promises and blah blah blah, this and that. He was doing that for himself.
Right.
It's so frustrating to be the peaceful one, and people taunt you constantly. They're all in your face, and you have to turn the other cheek. Like, I don't have that type of energy anymore. Like,
and that's the reason why people are protesting. That's the reason why people are protesting. We've had peaceful protests for so long, and now people are
and
rioting.
We're still continuing to promote the peacefulness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't loot. Don't attack things, like, keep things civil, but these people are taunting us, and I'm about to knock somebody out. That guy that was chasing people out around with swords, he deserved every inch of whatever the fuck happened to him, because you know, there were people in Philly calling people, you know, like, ripping people's signs, and they were just standing there. Like, I was like, look at how old these motherfuckers are. If y'all don't just fucking trip them, and, like, you know what I mean? Like, these people, they're old people, you know, like, these bigots are raised by people, boomers, and, like, people that live lives during, you know, when it was okay to be racist. And I don't understand why y'all not just pulling the plug on their IVs and shit. You know what I mean? Like, if we justify a murder, we better justify that shit both ways. And that I said,
oh my gosh.
I'm tired at this point. I'm so over like the peacefulness because
Yeah.
y'all are fighting riots at this point. You know, don't be upset when people are fighting back when you guys are the same ones that are being like, hey, like hit us, like haha, you can't hit me. Oh, say I won't. Say I won't. I'm not a punk. Like, I just want one of these white people to try me. Just one of them. One. Just one. Oh,
And that's on period. And that's
oh
on
my
period.
glasses. We got through everything. Don't donate to Sean King. He's a white man.
I'm going to link in the description below. Yeah, I'm going to link in the description below your thread on my YouTube video. The one I'm uploading, and this one. And I'm also going to link the New York Times video as well. Like I said, I wouldn't have felt right continuing to make content based on other topics if I didn't get this off my chest first and really address this issue at hand. It's not so.
We were supposed to have a Pokemon talk too. Pokemon, you saw that shit. That shit was so bad.
Oh, like, Pokemon! Oh my gosh!
Y'all need to get better PR teams. Like, please.
Yeah. So thank you to everybody for listening and to this episode of the Devin Hour. Me and Naya had a great time. I might make this like a monthly thing where I have like a panel discussion at the end of every month.
Yeah. Just because 2020 has been a shit ass year, and I feel like so we're gonna have to have like a wind down every month and
just review the nonsense.
Review. I'm tired, Milo. We tired.
We're exhausted beyond. So thank you to everybody for tuning into this week's episode of the Devin Hour. Look forward to the next couple of weeks. I did pre-record some episodes. I'm going to just release them, but I have bigger plans for the Devin Hour in light of all of this stuff. We are having Pride Month, and I really want to get some LGBTQ on, of course. So I definitely want to get that on. I want to bring some trans people on the show. I want to bring some drag queens on the show to really, really address these issues head on. So look out for those. I'm going to be reaching out to these people. So hopefully things come through. Besides all that, make sure you subscribe to my channel, Devin Too Woke, where my YouTube channel, where I address issues like these. I'm currently editing a video discussing this topic. I really want to get as much content out about this topic because you never know which one of these avenues is going to reach whatever group of people. So I just want to make sure I get this message out as much as I can. I can't stress this enough. Black Lives Matter. And on top of all that, all Black Lives Matter. Trans Black lives, non-binary Black lives, queer Black lives, all of that matters. So keep that in mind. Also, to those who are protesting, social distance. We still are in a pandemic.
So they said 3 feet. If you can't do 6 feet, do 3 feet. And don't be letting these white activists, their performative bullshit, don't be letting them do what they're doing and letting the blame fall on us. At the end of the day, remember that everything falls on the Black Lives Matter movement, so be careful what you do, be kind to one another, and sock a cop in the eye for me one time, just one time, and in my link I added a lot of ways that you can protect yourself from the rubber bullets. So and horses, please be nice to the horses. Do not be taking them horses, bruh. Leave them alone. Yeah, so I added a lot of links to where you can donate, educate yourself, sign some petitions, protect yourself during protesting, ways that you can make protection for other people, things that you should bring along, things that you should do to protect yourself on the internet as well.
Yes.
And, yeah, Black Lives Matter.
There you go.
No peace. Oops, sorry, Milo. Oops.
Period. Once again, thank you to everybody for tuning in. I'm going to curate the Devin Hour playlist so it could highlight nothing but Black artists out there. So go support them.
Yo,
as
shout out
well.
to Apple Music real quick because they took that they did it. They paused everything so only Black artists are being played. Not that that really makes anything like that doesn't really make a difference for me, but it might make a difference for y'all because I listen to Black artists all the time.
Right.
But you know, I know that the white people out there mad as fuck, and Spotify is shaking right now.
There you go. So, all right, we're out of here. Thank you for giving us an hour of your day. Stay woke.
Bye.
Okay, Naya, I'm going to FaceTime you.
Okay.